Unsettled.
Hey.
We are doing season 3.
Yay.
Please like, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell.
Yes, you got it. You're doing
And
well.
keep up to date with the videos that are coming up in the future. So, what lovely case are we investigating today?
Well, it's more of a discussion, really.
Fair enough.
But it is a case.
What are we discussing? That the title didn't tell me.
The fame-driven Zodiac Killer.
Interesting.
And I called him the fame-driven Zodiac Killer
Hmm.
because that seems to be all he really cared about, was getting publicly known.
Okay.
So it seems like he wanted to be famous for something that, I don't know,
Interesting.
bit of a weird one.
So let's dive straight into it, shall we?
Suppose. So, the Zodiac Killer is directly linked to at least 5 murders in North California, or Northern California.
Okay.
Do you know much about the Zodiac Killer?
A little bit.
He says little bits. So I guess we've discussed famous killings, but none quite like this one.
No,
This is a bit different, to say the least.
This is kind of the opposite of Jack the Ripper.
Right. I guess. And considering he's only linked to 5, he is so widely known. Whereas there's been other murderers who have killed more, who get less publicity as I stated, the fame-driven Zodiac Killer.
But then you think, like, say, Jack the Ripper and the famous 5. He's not as widely known. He's known as Jack the Ripper, but he's not known. Unlike this guy,
Now you're picking holes.
I'm just making similarities and constructive criticism whereas is needed.
From 1969.
Oh, good year.
Really? What happened then? You put on your Barnet hat?
Barnet. You just couldn't think of anything to say, could you?
Because everything else I'm not allowed to.
Right, fair play.
From 1969 to 1974, he began his killings.
Okay, 1 a year. Interesting.
He then began to taunt police and made threats through cryptic letters sent to local newspapers. I like killers with a kink.
Okay.
Not as in like I like them, but I like it that they got something about them.
They got a signature.
Yeah, what would yours be? Well, that's really interesting. Well, I'm glad you really shared that with us.
I'm not sure.
Mine would be if I was to kill someone.
I'd probably do like a W on the cheek or something.
What, like your paintings?
Yeah.
You put a W in the
Scratch
corner.
mark.
Do you know what I'd do? I'd kill him in their sleep and leave a little glowworm next to him. I'd be called the Glow Murderer. No, me, right? They wouldn't use that and they'd just call me the Worm Killer. Be fucking embarrassing, that would. I'd have to change it. No, I'm changing it. No! I'm not being called the Worm.
Come on, Wormy.
It's fucking ridiculous. Right, then.
Why a glowworm?
It's just something that you won't think of.
Yeah, but then it might be.
I don't mean a worm in the fucking garden that glows. I mean the little toy glowworm.
Well, yeah, but like it might be overlooked at a crime scene that that's your signature.
But when if I've killed a lot, they'll be like, these glowworms keep appearing everywhere.
What? Just like, would it be on them or would it be next to them?
Well, I really thought. I suppose I'd
Yeah,
make
it's
them.
hard to think of a plot when you're really asked.
I'd make them hug them.
Hug the glowworm.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
then
after I
it
slit
would
their
be a
throat, I'll put their
worm.
arms and hug it.
Yeah, but then you could also be called the plushie murderer.
Well, no, because I haven't killed. Because the glowworm is an old toy.
Is it a plastic toy or is it?
Have you ever seen a
stuffed
glowworm toy?
Yeah, I've seen one that's sewn. I've seen one that's moulded.
Right. So basically, it's a plastic head with like a little nightcap on. and it's just like a long worm with like a little blanket over it, and I'd leave that next to the crime scene.
Well, that's interesting. I'm a little bit creeped out, so that's move
I had plenty when I was little.
What, glowworms or murders?
Both.
Oh.
So no, this Zodiac Killer, not the worm killer,
Yeah.
the Zodiac Killer, right? He abruptly stopped communications. So
Okay.
all of a sudden just stopped. He stopped sending letters, he stopped everything. Maybe in fear of being caught, I don't know, it seems a bit weird.
Okay.
Right. Despite intensive investigations, no one was ever arrested for the crimes, and the case had remained open.
Okay.
Right.
This is sounding a lot like Jack the Ripper, dude.
So we're gonna get into what makes this killer tick.
Okay.
He indeed wanted fame.
Mhm.
Okay. And to be known for something.
Right.
To me, this killer seems like... seems a bit like pussy, really. He doesn't seem like a brutal killer. He seems like, oh, I'm going to kill you and leave a little love note to the Daily Mail. It seems
So
like...
he was in it for the glory, well, the fame, and the.
He doesn't seem like a scary killer.
He wanted to be known.
Yeah.
But he was doing one a year,
It's like...
roughly.
It's like... lucky man. Right, so it's like if I was to kill someone and leave a little glowworm next to them, I wouldn't be known as a scary killer, would I? Because I'm leaving a little child toy next to them, like, and then I'll creep off into the night.
Mm.
So I wouldn't be known as a scary killer. Like most
I suppose-
killers we've discussed have been really horrific. Like they wear a
Yeah.
balaclava mask and they rape people, and you know this
Yeah.
guy just sends letters to the newspapers after he's killed him. That doesn't sound.
So how do they know it's him?
Let's get into it. Right. You seem really fascinated with this, I can tell. See how season 3 is going to be. On August 1st, 1969, the San Francisco Chronicle, I guess, and other papers.
Okay.
Right.
So local papers.
Yeah. In the town, yeah. Each received an identical handwritten letter in an envelope without a return address, obviously. He's not going to send them a letter and be like,
Return to sender.
return to sender, please. The glowworm needs help. So it began. Dear editor, I am the killer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman. He sounds really formal. Dear editor.
It sounds like a very polite note.
It does, doesn't it? The letters contain details from the Zodiac's killers, murders, and only the killer would know certain details. Right?
Okay.
So this is how you know.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was going to wait, but you ruined the surprise. Right.
Yeah.
The 2 teenagers were Betty Lou Jensen, 16, and David Arthur Faraday, 17. They had just been on their first date and stopped the car down a lay-by after dinner, you know what I mean?
Oh. The after dinner dessert.
Bit of sausage, bit of tuna mayo. They were down Lovers Lane getting a bit hanky-panky, put it that way. How many cases have we covered where they're down
So
Lovers
many.
Lane? Like, where's with young couples going down the woods? Why? A bit weird. I got caught down the woods once. I heard rustling in the bushes. We quickly drove away, didn't we? So, anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's quite scary. Not gonna say where, but I'll tell you after. Scary. They left the glowworm on the back seat of the car.
Back into the window.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where I got the idea from. Right.
As you're driving away. Stolen!
So Betty had 5 bullet wounds in her back, and David had a bullet directly into his head. Okay. The killer went on.
Sweet.
Yeah. The killer went on and on in his letter to threaten future attacks if the letters weren't printed on the front page of the papers. Do you see what I mean?
Hence the fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts, processes, anything?
That's not really.
It's like he killed someone and went, yeah, I did it, have a letter. Print it or more will die. Yeah. See, this is why I don't get it so widely known for what?
It's mundane. It's
boring.
literally what everybody wants to.
Yeah.
It's like the first heist, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay. Baby steps, I suppose.
Yeah. Each letter closed with a symbol, a circle with a cross through it. It's like a love heart and a hug. Like an instant hug. Yeah.
Hugs and kisses.
Hit later to be the the low life symbol.
Okay.
The zodiac, the circle, and the shooting.
Okay.
I
thought like he killed like 12 people and etched like every symbol of the zodiac. You know what I mean?
What, like, oh, there's an Aries sign and a Pisces.
Well, there we go.
Oh, a Libra.
Well, no, like you'd etch.
Oh, I see you got Cancer.
Sorry, watch me, Virgo.
Yeah.
But no, you would.
No.
Like, if I had the name Zodiac Killer, I'd be killing 12 people and putting zodiac signs on them.
There we go. Now we know your kink.
Damn it.
You'd be called the Star Sign Killer.
Exactly.
The Star Sign Killer, accompanied with the worm. Oh, he put symbols all over their body. Then what? Then his accomplice leaves a worm at the end of the bed. Bit shit, isn't it? That's what I mean. It's a bit.
That's
shit.
a really shit sidekick.
What, the worm? Well, I'm sorry, I can't think of anything bad.
It's not the Zodiac Killer and the worm
No,
guy.
the Star Sign Killer and the worm guy.
Ooh, Star Killer.
Star Killer. Wow. But no. Imagine if like, this guy had like a Batman like the Zodiac Killer, and he just had like his little
The
cross.
shooting symbol.
It's fucking stupid.
Someone's got a bullseye in
It's
the
just,
sky.
it's just like a sniper rifle in the sky. It'd be shit. Okay.
Definitely on a cloudy day. That'd be rubbish.
It'd be shit, wouldn't it?
It'd be like,
So I mean, I don't get the idea of this guy's fame.
no.
Right. So the letters also contained one part of a 3-part cipher code that he claimed held his identity. So he's kind
So
of
he's
like,
good at cipher, so he's good at maths.
so it's kind of like he's one of them IT nerds at this point that have learned how to use a gun. This is what I'm imagining.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the real nerdy guy.
code breaker.
Yeah, the real nerdy guy would
They
give it.
will hack this YouTube account then. Please don't. We need to.
No, please don't.
Right. So anyway, it kind of states to me that he was going to kill again because obviously he said
Yeah,
part
yes.
1 to part 3.
Mhm.
Right? So it kind of makes sense, right? And he wants his like
Was the first one I, and then the second one am.
Zodiac. I could do that. I am worm.
I am one.
So it kind of seems like he sent part 1 to get in the papers, like to say I did this, did that.
Yeah,
And
it
part
sounds
two-
like a really bad threat. This is just part 1
it's
or
a
3.
shit
You know what I
threat.
mean?
It's a shit threat. Right. While Bay Area Police Department, with support from the FBI, wanted to track down the killer, another letter arrived. Beginning.
Part 2.
Yeah. Dear editor, this is the Zodiac speaking. It doesn't sound
It's so
threatening.
polite.
I know. Like, if this was me receiving...
Maybe it's like the Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Maybe. But if I was to send a letter, right, to the editor, it would be better than Dear Editor.
Dear editor, I had a wonderful day today.
So, this other letter taunted the police for not cracking the code or catching him. So he's taunting them.
Yeah,
Which makes sense.
it makes sense.
But he wanted them to, like, really push these letters for people to, like, have a little mystery puzzle. It's like he's giving away free Sudoku.
He's trying to instigate a manhunt. That's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
it is.
Several days later, high schooler Donald Harden and his wife. Yeah, his wife.
High school. Yeah.
Yeah, wife. I'll put down Betty again. Were able to solve the cipher.
Okay.
So they solved it, right? So the cipher as follows. I like killing people because it's so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all. Love the chiropractor. No, the Zodiac Killer. But he's literally, they cracked the code. And that's what he said. He prefers killing humans because it's easy, well, it's more fun than killing animals outside.
Yeah, but it's not. So they cracked the code.
They cracked one code, yeah.
The one code, sorry.
Yeah.
And it
That's what it said.
It didn't say who he was.
No, that obviously it's only part one.
Oh, don't you just hate when people lie?
So, 3 days after the fourth known Zodiac killing,
Did they ever go at part 2?
You'll get to it.
Oh.
Right. The 1969 murder of a taxi driver, Paul Stiv. The San Francisco Chronicle received a letter claiming the crime, written in the same erratic print as the Zodiac's previous letters. It gave details of Paul Stive's murder and was accompanied by a bloody scrape of his shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So it's proof, obviously.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm the Zodiac Killer, have a bit of a shirt.
Yeah. Did that accompany by a letter?
Yeah, I said he sent a letter. At the end of the letter, the killer toyed with the fact that he would shoot out the entire school bus and pick off kids as they came bouncing off.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, because they're always excited to go to school.
He wants to shoot out the tyre wheel, so then they're bouncing around right as it's driving along.
That's not what that means.
Oh, come here, you bounce little fuck. Have a worm.
It's hard to see something.
But it doesn't. It's just letters. How is this case so famous? How? Please tell me how. Because he sent the public a code.
He's so polite.
Yeah. Should we take a look at the codes?
Who does love a good Sudoku?
It's a crossword, darling.
Oh.
Oh, it's got a symbol at the bottom. Let's take a look at the codes and the letters and everything all else. The Zodiac Killer continued his taunting correspondence with the Bay Area papers, along with more cryptic ciphers claiming to have committed several more murders and mocked the police who still hadn't caught him. In 1974, the letters stopped. So it's like, hey, I'm killing people. Pay attention to me. Hey, okay, not me. You're not. You haven't cracked the code. This is shit. I thought it was going to be more fun. Yeah.
Very much.
At
I was
present,
agreeing.
at present, 4 separate attacks have been definitely attributed to the Zodiac Killer. David and Betty on the 20th of December. July the 5th, Darlene Ferrin, Mike McGew. They both was approached by a man with a flashlight, then shots fired, killing Darlene but injuring Mike. Okay? Within an hour of the incident, a man
Were they down the alley as well?
Maybe. It doesn't actually state where they were.
Approached by a flashlight. We've gone over this before.
Yeah, well.
Did he have a bag over his head?
Yes. No, just a man with a flashlight.
Oh.
Right. So within an hour of the incident, a man called police department, giving them the location of the crime and claiming responsibility for both that attack and David and Betty's. I told you, he's fame hungry. He is, isn't he? He's like, oh, I'll kill people. Hey, pay attention to me. Please. He's like, look what I did. No. At this point, you'd be like, yeah, that's really cool. I enjoyed your cipher and word search. Appreciate it. Bye.
Solved it weeks ago, mate.
Yeah. Despite evidence that included fingerprints, Mike's description, and the decoded cipher, and the tips and leads, police still couldn't catch this little fucker. We have fingerprints. We have a description. We know what we're looking for. Really? You're looking for a cross in the sky. Right.
And a man with a bag over his head, a flashlight.
No, he ain't got a bag on his head yet. Not yet, I think it's this one. September 27th, 1969. Cecilia Shepherd and Brian Hartnell were attacked on the shore of Lake Berryssessy. A man wearing a hood.
At least it's not a pillowcase.
Oh no, you got like this. With a shirt and a circle cross symbol.
He's got his own stuff.
He's got his own merch. This guy's gone up. He tied them up and brutally stabbed them. He then scratched their...
Hang on, how did they know?
What do you mean?
You said they know.
No, I tied them up and brutally stabbed them.
Fair enough.
He then scratched their car, leaving a message for the police to see.
Guess who?
Question mark. Cross cipher. Worm drawing.
Batman?
He then called the police department, claiming responsibility.
Oh,
Cecilia died of her wounds.
Hey, guess what I did last summer?
2 weeks later, on October the 11th, 1969, the Zodiac killed the taxi driver Paul Stive. Police thought this may have been a robbery until a letter appeared.
Guess what I did? You drove me to this now.
No,
pay attention to me.
Zodiac. It's like a spoiled brat. Do you like this guy, Mel?
And shoot him.
But not before I give him a worm.
Oh wait, I got a right note.
Right, apparently he also called up the TV channels and the news channels and the police department.
Well, the newspapers weren't paying no attention.
Exactly. So
I'm going to go to the TV if you don't publish it.
exactly. So that's what he done. He went to the TV. Anyway.
Zodiac, a symbol that now stands for terror in San Francisco. Today there was a possibly significant development in the terrifying case of the man who calls himself Zodiac and has boasted that he is responsible for 5 murders in the last 9 months. In Zodiac's latest letter last week, he threatened to make a busload of school children his next victims. Since then, school buses have been discreetly guarded and parents' fears have openly risen. This morning, the people of San Francisco heard a man who claimed to be Zodiac talking on the air during a television conversation program with attorney Melvin Belli and the program's host, Jim Dunbar.
Get a kill.
That was the voice of a man who called himself the Zodiac Killer. He's talking to attorney Melvin Belli by phone on a television conversation show. This bizarre situation began at 2 o'clock this morning when the so-called Zodiac telephoned police headquarters. He said he was sick, he needed help, and he wanted to talk to Belli on television. All the scheduled guests were canceled from the show on the ABC station KGO. Belli waited for Zodiac to call on the private line. The phone was not tapped. The killer telephoned 12 times. He spoke very little, with attorney Belli trying to draw him out.
Jim said, well, maybe he's afraid of being beaten up or something like that. Now, what can I say?
Well, why don't we just ask Sam to tell us a little bit more about what he's feeling right now. Tell us about your feelings, Sam. Just tell us anything you want to.
And then we'll come back and I'll give you a specific answer to this question, are you going to the gas chamber? Stay with us so I can answer that for you. But will you attend on Jim just a minute and tell him what you're feeling, or Talk to us.
Just tell us what's going on inside you right now, Sam, please.
I have headache.
All right.
How long have you had those headaches, Sam? Been a long time?
Since I killed a kid.
If it all boils down to the question of you're giving yourself up, if you could be assured that you wouldn't get capital punishment for myself.
I don't want to give myself up.
Huh?
I want to kill those kids.
Belli finally arranged to meet Zodiac in Daly City, a suburb south of San Francisco, to talk in person. The attorney waited in an office building, but Zodiac never showed. I asked Belli if he thought the man who called really was the Zodiac Killer.
I can't. Negative. I can't say. All I can say is this man needed help. This man seemed like a man who was coming up to a storm or to a climax, and this very blood-curdling thing. Children kill, and then a sort of an agonized cutoff, and enough to turn your hair whiter than mine.
So inside the thrift shop, St. Vincent de Paul, attorney Melvin Belli and the San Francisco police waited for the Zodiac Killer. The man did not show, so now all we can do is wait perhaps for that next phone call from the man who calls himself Zodiac, who has killed 5 and says he's going to kill again. Dick Shoemaker, ABC News, San Francisco.
We'll be back with more news in a moment.
So you've just watched that lovely clip of like 3 minutes of waffle of a news broadcast going, the Zodiac Killer. But anyway, it turned out that it wasn't actually him that called up the police department or the news.
Was it his mum?
No. It turned out to just be someone who obviously has some mental issues.
Copycat.
Yeah, possibly. But weirdly enough, the Zodiac actually mentions that was not me on the TV in one of the letters. He's like, that wasn't me on the TV, you know, talking. He's like, you.
Well, maybe it's reverse psychology.
Maybe he's got split personalities. Yeah, he calls him up, he's like, please, I've killed someone. I'm the Zodiac. At least 5 other murders have been linked to the Zodiac Killer. The 1963 shooting of Robert.
Yep.
Yeah, Robert and Linda Edwards near Santa Barbara and Barbara, yeah, and the 1966 stabbing of a college student, Joe Bates. I guess. With so many theories and recent information, the suspects was endless. We'll get to them in a minute. It'll be more fun. In 2020, after more than 50 years, they still couldn't crack the fucking case.
No, they only just figured out the cipher.
No. Here's the best bit. Amateur code breakers solved the Zodiac cipher, and it read, I hope you're having lots of fun trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show. See? Right? Which brings...
You included that in a cipher? That's just nasty.
Yeah, which brings up a point about me. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise. No matter the way you spelled paradise wasn't with an S at the end, it was with a C.
Okay.
Right, so there's kind of like...
How can you be illiterate as well as a code break, like cipher? How?
Maybe they were just drawings and people have come up with that. Maybe he's trying to... Maybe he's got like this really weird disability where he just does dots
He does
and
everything
dashes.
backwards.
Yeah. Maybe. Zodiac Killer, you're a piece of shit. It's like... Right. All the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me when everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise, yet again with a C, right? So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise death.
Now he's just mumbling.
Exactly. It makes no sense, does it?
No.
Right. So before 2021,
cipher wrong.
maybe it's the people that decoded the cipher that are illiterate and can't read them right and spell.
That's a thing. Oh, now I've done it. I've got to carry on.
Right. So before 2021, this year.
Right.
This year. Right.
They realised it was an S.
The theories on who it may have been the Zodiac Killer.
Spelled with an S.
Yeah. So they had many. They had many theories. So you had Arthur Lee Allen was already a suspect, but he died in 1992 with no conclusive evidence that links him to the Zodiac. But they just
typewriter.
They just suspected him. Maybe he was like a media journalist or something.
He died, but it was him.
You have Elvin Best Jr., a man who resembled a police. He resembled a police sketch from the witnesses, basically. So when the witness who survived the shooting was like, "Oh, it could be him,"
Yeah.
probably wasn't. You have Louis Myers. He apparently confessed to the murders to a friend on his deathbed.
Here we go again.
Events in his life matched, but no actual evidence. Right. Here's where it gets interesting. To 2021, this year. Ready? A team of specialists who investigated cold cases said they had identified the Zodiac Killer. A team of 40 law enforcement investigators, journalists, and military intelligence officers have said the Zodiac Killer was Gary E. Post, or Gary F. Post, sorry, right, who died in 2018. Scars which match witness statements and photos from Gary's dark room.
Ooh.
Right. A former Army counter-intelligence agent who works on countless cold cases stated in one note the letters from Gary's Post's full name had been removed to reveal an alternative message.
Really?
Yeah. Other matches was Post was an Air Force veteran. He received medical checkups for a gun incident at a hospital 15 minutes away from the murder scene.
Okay.
Yeah?
Mm.
Well, it's from the Bates murder scene, right? What do you think so far? A wristwatch.
Plausible.
Right. A wristwatch with paint splatter on it was collected at the murder scene and was thought to be from the killer.
Mm.
Keep this one in mind. Gary was a decorator
And recently lost a
for many years, or for 4 decades. Detectives found a heel print from a military boot which was the same style and size as a footprint as a Zodiac Killer at his place.
Okay.
So they found a watch covered in paint, and he was a decorator, so it had paint on it.
Mm.
They found images which matched other things.
Mm.
They found a boot which was found at the crime scene, which was actually at his place of residence. I'm dying of pandemic.
And this poor old decorator can't spell.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you think they actually cracked it? Do you think they know it was officially him? A lot of people are saying it is.
A lot of things match. But then again, we don't believe in coincidences.
With a C, not an S. Coincidences.
They're just trying to settle it.
You reckon?
That's the problem with cold cases, though. Is once you can come at it with fresh eyes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they got a lot of people trying to crack the case, and then in this year,
True.
they said it was him because of all this.
But then maybe that's just
They're like, oh, no.
narrowing them down from.
How many people in the world would have paint on their watch in that area after
that
a murder scene?
specific time.
Exactly. And the fact he went into the hospital with gunshot wounds on his arm 15 minutes after the murder of the Bates.
So that would mean that the Bates had weapon.
No, the Bates had been killed and he had burns on his arm from the gun.
Okay.
And he went to the hospital, which was 15 minutes away from the crime scene. Everyone online saying it's solved. Everyone online saying it's solved.
I'm staying in reserve.
You're the reserve. Right.
It just seems they just want it settled.
Okay.
And as frustrating as that sounds, it's.
Okay.
That's what I believe. They've narrowed it down from 100 suspects or whatever, and they're just like, it's one of these guys. He's a decorator. It fits with the watch. He wears military boots when he's decorating. It fits. It's.
He went to hospital.
He went to hospital 15 minutes ago with severe burns. We don't know what
a gun
burns.
Gun burn.
Was it listed as a gun?
Yes.
Burn? Or gunshot residue burn? Should I say?
Go back over
GSR.
again. So, he received medical checkups for a gun incident at a hospital 15 minutes away from the murder scene.
Okay.
It was him.
It's more plausible now.
Well, if you were listening to what I said, you would have agreed with me from the beginning. So it's solved.
Yeah.
We haven't solved it, someone else did. But you agree that it is solved and the Zodiac Killer was a pussy, and my idea of leaving a glowworm is more terrifying than the Zodiac Killer.
Than etching my initials into their cheek. I very much doubt it.
Everyone knows it's you.
Exactly.
Or it would stand for Woodburn.
Yeah. Woodburn. Oh man. If someone murders something with something to begin with, like wood burning equipment, please don't come to me. It's not me. Or maybe it was. I don't know. I black out.
And you notice me because I leave you a nice little glowworm to cuddle you into the afterlife. That's been the Zodiac Killer.
We've been on the Unsettled. I can't speak. It's just that glowworm.
Cute. Would you rather I left you a letter afterwards?
Drop a comment down below. What do you prefer? A letter?
Or
A
glowworm?